This is Martin Giles of the Guildford Dragon News. And in our third interview with the Tillingbourne by-election candidates, I'm with Clare Price of the Residents for Guildford and Villages Party. Hello, Clare. Thank you for giving your time to the Guildford Dragon News.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Right. So why do you think you'd be a good borough councillor for Tillingbourne Ward?
First of all, I love this area. I was brought up here. In fact, I went to the local village school here in Chilworth. So it's an area that I'm passionate about. I'm also currently a St Martha parish councillor. So I already have some experience of dealing and helping residents. And that's made me realise how important community is. And it's really helpful for residents to have someone relatable to help them with things. We have all these online reporting systems which aren't always easy to navigate. And I think that's where the value of a good councillor who shows passion and enthusiasm comes in. So I'm already, if you like, doing that at local, very local level under St Martha's. So in a way, stepping up to being a borough councillor is, for me, a natural progression.
Okay.
And I hope to continue that journey.
Right. So why did you choose R4GV to be a member of in particular? Well,
I think it's all in the name. Residents for Guildford and Villages. I think it's extremely apt. I think actually it's what's been missing. After their tremendous success in 2019, it really made me think, what a breath of fresh air to have a non-political group. After all, no one knows a neighbourhood better than someone who lives, maybe works in that area. It's about what's best for the community. It's not about national politics. So I'm very proud and believe I want to help them build on their success that they already have achieved from the previous elections.
Okay, so what about, you've chosen R4 as opposed to a national political party. How do you think, why do you think it's important to have a local affiliation, or do you need an affiliation at all? Why couldn't you be an independent?
I think you need an affiliation, and I think having a local affiliation, as I said, it's about knowing the areas. It's about being part, living and working in your neighbourhood. You see on a daily basis what's going on. And I don't think that national politics strategies or policies can be up to date or reflect what's going on locally.
But they can know what's going on locally, can't they? So what is they can live in the area, they can know what's going on. What's the big difference, do you think, between...
Well, I think they probably have to toe the party line as well,
right,
to an extent. Okay. Whereas Residents for Guildford and Villages, you're actually, it's an independent group, non-political, but also there is no party whip. I'm free and independent to think and vote at council, I believe, without having to be, reflect other people's opinions.
Okay.
So I'm an independent voice, but with the allegiance or the support, shall I say, of a party, which I think you do need.
Okay. Now, what are the main issues you've identified in Tillingbourne that you think you would need to tackle as the borough councillor representing them?
Well, I'm very concerned. It's a beautiful area. It's crisscrossed with many rural lanes, going through pretty villages. There are numerous rat runs, and on a daily basis, I'm a dog walker, I'm also a horse rider, and I see inappropriate vehicles accessing the lanes, big lorries, getting stuck, causing erosion, conflict with pedestrians, horse riders, cyclists, and people, children with push chairs, etc. And I'm very concerned about that, and also the speed of traffic. I would probably, well, I'm minded to say that probably Halfpenny Lane, which is right on my patch, is probably one of the worst rat runs in the area. And on the back of that, as a resident already, I'm working with Fiona Davison, who is our Surrey County Councillor for R4GV. We have got 2 new signs, weight restriction signs, clearly mounted now and on the back of a yellow background, whereas before they were invisible in the hedgerows. And I'm also currently starting a HGV watch campaign.
Okay. I mean, of course,
like
highways is a county council responsibility, isn't it, rather than borough council? But you have said that you're working with Fiona Davidson there on the county council. But do you think you'll be able to influence that very much as a borough councillor?
Oh, absolutely. I think you know, it's about, shall I say, who you know, and is gaining as much information as you can. One thing leads to another, doesn't it?
It does.
You can't
and also
do
you're
things in isolation.
Well, if it's who you know, you've also got 2 neighbours who you've got Joss Bigmore and John Rigg, both living on that road as well. So you've got quite a power base there to get the changes you want, I imagine.
Well, it's not just about them. We have a group of something like 80 residents. If you incorporate White Lane, Longdown, Blacksmith Lane, it's not just about us.
Okay.
You know, it's about the community. It's about the villagers who use the lane. It's about their disruption. It's about their safety. It's not just, as I say, about the local councillors who live here.
Okay. Now, some of that increase in traffic is probably generated by the increased number of housing developments in the general area of the borough. What's your, and that of course is driven by the local plan for Guildford. What's your take on the local plan?
The local plan, now that was pushed through by the previous administration in 2019. And I remember being at that meeting where it was fiercely, well, contentious, shall we say. Anyhow, it went through. And the reason that a lot of us were not happy was because it allowed for development in the rural villages and into Greenbelt. And in particular, I could reference in the village here of Chilworth, there was a proposal at Hornhatch Farm. I think it might have been in the region of some 80 homes, which, to be honest, would have been unforgivable, because we do not have the infrastructure in this area. The roads are already heavily congested, causing pollution, and the local plan didn't allow or consider more urban or brownfield sites, so it's very much favoured on the developer. I know we still have the plan, so it was adopted, and they're hoping, I believe, to have a review of the plan in 2024, but it's quite a complex and lengthy process. But myself and R4GV will always want to protect the rural villages and the green belt.
Okay, and what would you say to those who, and they have, criticised your party for not initiating the review earlier?
And well, it's complex. I think there are various reasons. I think also they're waiting. I know our former leader of the council, Councillor Bigmore, has been trying to get some information from the Office of National Statistics, because there was we believe, or they believe, or it's well understood, that there's been an overestimation of the housing numbers. And until we know, it was all to do, I believe, with student numbers, post-graduation, and that is some statistics or data that they still don't have. So how can we progress when we haven't got that information? I mean, the housing needs of the borough have got to reflect our needs in the type, affordability, the scale, the density, we need infrastructure. Anyone who lives in this area knows how congested our roads all around, not just in my area, but all around Guildford. So it needs careful consideration.
So you think that the delay was necessary in your view?
It's very complex, Martin. I've got to confess, I don't know if it was a good idea to delay, but I know I understand the reasons why.
Okay.
That's what I can tell you. Okay.
And now, Tillingbourne Ward, tactical voting could come into play, couldn't it? Because we've got the incumbent party are the Conservatives, but people that want to vote, and we know that in elections, people sometimes vote against parties as well as for them. Those
Yes.
that perhaps want a change from the Conservative Party may be looking to see which is the best bet of the other candidates. Do you think people should vote tactically, or do you think they should just vote with the party they think is best?
I think they should vote for who they believe in. I don't believe in tactical voting. I think it's a misrepresentation of what you think and believe in. And I'm very proud to be standing as a resident for Guildford Villages. It says what it does on the tin, as so to speak, and I will not be aligning myself with any other party or group. And I think that's I hope that residents will vote of independent mind and based on what they read and learn.
Okay, so imagine that I'm now a prospective voter in Tillingbourne on the doorstep, and you're campaigning, and I say to you, look, I really support Party X, but I think you've got a good chance, so I'm going to put my vote with you. What are you going to advise me to do? Because you don't believe in tactical voting.
Well, I'm going to ask you to put a tick in the box for me, and that's it. It's quite
Okay, fair enough. I'm sure any candidate is going to say the same thing, of course. But so it just shows that the issue of tactical voting is quite complicated, isn't it? And
yes.
It is understandable that some people do vote tactically for yes. a variety of reasons.
Right. Yes. And I'm
okay.
not necessarily.
That's fine. But what I want to now, when we were just talking before the interview, you said you're about to actually launch the campaign proper now, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, I've literally hot off the press today. I have my campaign leaflet here, so right. I'll be walking the streets later, so to speak. Yes.
Okay. Well, have you spoken to any voters in Tillingbourne yet? Have you had a chance to get any reaction of feelings, etc.?
Only a couple of people I've spoken to, and of course, as a parish councillor,
of course, yeah,
I've obviously notified them, and I have their support, and they I think are going to be helping me leaflet in the area,
right?
And I plan to do some social media on the next door site as well.
Okay, there we are. You're back. Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry. Just
I'm a bit worried about
stay still because we're recording. Okay, that's good. Okay, well, listen, Claire, I say to all the candidates I interview, good luck on the campaign, and thank you for standing, because I'm a strong believer in democracy, and it's important we have people from a range of parties for the voters to choose from. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.